Good afternoon and welcome to Joliet, Illinois at ATI Field at Joliet Memorial Stadium for today's St. Francis Fighting Saints soccer matchup against the Cleary University Cougars. Terry Bonadonna with you for today's call. 90 minutes of soccer coming your way as the Saints try to pick up their first victory of this season. They've lost their first two games, falling to Clark University back on August 21st by a 2-1 final, and then this past Sunday they fell to Madonna 3-0. They're back at home today, their third consecutive home game to open up the season, second straight game against a school from Michigan, and they'll try to come out on top against a Cleary team that comes in with a 1-2 record. They dropped their most recent game last week. So here we go today with the Saints taking the field. St. Francis in white with the yellow trunks, and Cleary will come out and join them in just a few moments. They'll be wearing navy blue, red numbers and letters for the Cougars today. A quick look at the starting lineups for today's game. First for the visiting Cleary Cougars, it's Sydney Houston, Rachel Hintz, Chelsea Hendra, Haley Finazzo, Victoria Bukowski, Melanie Davies, Anna Jennings, Harley Gorzelski, Kendra Pennington, and Alexa Haraberta. Their goalkeeper is Kara Donaldson. Donaldson has played every minute in goals so far this season for Cleary. She's allowed 2 goals per game, 6 goals total in 3 contests this year. She's made 15 saves, has a record of 1-2, and has 1 shutout so far this season. Cleary will get the first kick as the visiting side. They're going from left to right in the first half of today's game. They'll be shooting into the south net. The Saints are going from right to left and shooting into the north goal for the first 45 minutes of today's game. Cleary controls it on the defensive side, pushed towards the sideline. It's Anna Jennings and has it knocked away from her out of bounds. A throw-in coming up for Cleary. For the Fighting Saints today, the starters include Olivia De La Rosa, Olivia Hollander, Brittany Cook, Madison Hanyon, Isabel Serta, Martina Katurba, Haley Hogue, Grace McDermott, Litzy Mendez, and Kelly Petrowski. Saints on their first attack. Petrowski is intercepted by Rachel Hintz, and their attack is immediately thwarted. The goalkeeper today for the Fighting Saints is Yadira Estrada, making her first start of the season. Estrada has appeared in 1 game so far. She was out on the field for the second half last Sunday, and she allowed 2 goals, but she also made 8 saves in her 1 half of action. So she gets the start today over Ellie Provo, again making her first start of the season. Free kick is away from Cleary. Saints trying to reverse direction here. It's Olivia Hollander heading it forward, deflected by Hintz rather. She keeps it alive though, going out of bounds. A throw-in coming up for Cleary. Just over a minute into the action. Both teams looking to strike first, but this figures to be a good defensive battle, if at least the game holds true to the statistical trends so far this year. Cleary along the sideline, taken away by De La Rosa and poked out of bounds by Rachel Hintz. Throw in for the Saints right at midfield. Tossed in a little bit too high for the head of Kelly Petrowski. It rolls behind her. Chasing it back is Alexa Haraberta. And Haraberta gets there down in the corner and knocks it out. That allows Madison Hanyon to come way downfield for the throw-in here. This is the deepest into Cleary territory that St. Francis has gotten so far, but it didn't last very long. The throw-in is intercepted and cleared to the other side of the field. Now here comes a run from the Cougars down the middle of the field. And that's Kendra Pennington giving it off and intercepted. Good defensive stand by the Saints. Looked like a bit of a breakaway for a moment for Cleary. Cougars are back in possession. Haraberta intercepted. Here comes Martina Katurba for the Saints. Katurba pushes it through. Kelly Petrowski on the run, but a good sliding stop by Kara Donaldson. If Donaldson had just been a second late to that one, Petrowski would have had a free run towards the net. But she got there just ahead of Petrowski. She slid in and knocked it away. Good work by the goalkeeper. And now the Saints will have to restart the possession, going in from the sideline on the throw-in. It's knocked out of bounds, and this time it'll be Madison Hanyon stepping up across midfield to toss it back in. Into Petrowski. There's the cross from Petrowski, and there's Cleary to take it away. Now, I'd mentioned both of these teams figure to play defensive battles. So the ball is poked away by Olivia De La Rosa. The offenses for these two squads this year have not been prolific so far. Saints have just 1 goal scored through 2 games. Cleary scored 4 in their 3 games, but 3 of them came in 1 effort, a 3-0 win last week. Other than that, 2 games, 1 goal for the Cougars, who are deep in St. Francis territory here. Anna Jennings was trying to cross it, but it was knocked away from her by Madison Hanyon, out of bounds along the back line. We're going to get a corner kick here for Cleary with just over 41 minutes to play in the first half. Still just underway. Cleary will have the first chance on a corner kick today. Set up by Kendra Pennington. Pennington sends it away. Going up front, there's a kick well over the net and out of bounds. Shot came in from Chelsea Hendra, I believe. She was the one who got it off. 1 touch off the corner kick. And Hendra sent it too high and well over the net, easily out of bounds, and Estrada gets the goal kick. So the potential for disaster thwarted there. Here comes Cleary once again. Towards the middle of the field, it's Hintz. Hintz working against a pair of defenders, rolls it out to the right side. 2 more defenders get involved and take it away. Haley Hogue tries to knock it downfield, deflected by Jennings out of bounds. And the Saints will get another chance to move it downfield, this time with their hands as Hanyon throws it in. Off of De La Rosa. De La Rosa taps it off to Petrowski. Petrowski working to keep the possession alive for St. Francis. She does. Chip down the field. De La Rosa on the run, and it's out of bounds. A little bit too far out in front of her. Not a bad-looking ball there for De La Rosa. Just a little too strong. Not able to chase it down. De La Rosa tried to head that throw in, couldn't get to it. Instead, it's knocked out of bounds by Cleary. Nice job by Hanyon, kicking that ball off of Anna Jennings. Saints possessions. De La Rosa tipping it back towards Hanyon, nearly knocked away by Melanie Davies. Davies missed on it. And so the Saints still in control. Petrowski back to Hanyon. De La Rosa downfield looking for Petrowski, nearly taken by Alexa Haraberta. Not able to control it though, and the Saints throw it in again from the sideline. But immediately tapped out of bounds this time by trying to find Isabel Serta. Instead, she finds the Cleary defense. Victoria Bukowski there for the interception. Knocked out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for Cleary, this time on the far sideline. Thrown into Harley Gorzelski, the leading scorer for Cleary this year. Ball is knocked out. Saints throw it in. Isabel Serta along the sideline. Knocked off of her foot by Haley Finazzo. Finazzo pushes it out of bounds. De La Rosa. On the back end coming in, Grace McDermott. De La Rosa taps it back. Mendez. Mendez makes one defender miss. Takes a shot. It's deflected at the front of the box. Cleared easily by Cleary. That's why they call him Cleary, I guess. Good attack there from St. Francis. Just came up a little bit short. Now a good run for Cleary. But it was 1-on-4, and the 4 defenders are able to stand up. Hanyon ahead to De La Rosa. De La Rosa turns it upfield. And tackled away from her, but an interception from Madison Hanyon. Back to Hollander, and Hollander 1 touch out of bounds. Hanyon knocks it out this time off her head, immediately following the throw-in. Another throw here for Haraberta. Into Anna Jennings. Jennings trying to work around Hanyon, has to give it up instead. Melanie Davies downfield. Davies gets it back. Pushes it towards the middle, and it's intercepted there by Isabel Serta. Serta cuts towards the middle. Looking to move downfield. She kicks it across midfield, but it's headed back. Now loose ball's tracked down by Martina Katurba, and Katurba's tripped up. I think that was Rachel Hintz who tripped Katurba there. Foul called. And a free kick here for the Fighting Saints. Just beyond midfield, Olivia Hollander steps up. 36.5 minutes to play in the half. Hollander sends it down the middle of the field. And knocked away there by Chelsea Hendra. Good defense by Hendra. Saints going back the other way again. Mendez has it poked away. Cleared by the Cougars. Tracked back by the Fighting Saints defense. Grace McDermott takes it off the foot of Kendra Pennington. Then McDermott clears it downfield. Nobody there for the Saints, but at least it halted the Cleary possession. It'll force them to restart as that ball rolls all the way out the back line. We've got a goal kick coming up. Chelsea Hendra's got it set up. Hendra will take it in place of Kara Donaldson. Hendra sends a ground ball that is intercepted by St. Francis. Martina Katurba races down into the corner after that loose ball. Katurba has it tackled away. Good defense right there by Haraberta. Out the sideline. It's a throw-in for the Fighting Saints. Set to be taken by Madison Hanyon. Hanyon crosses with the foot. Deflected away. Ball loose and tracked down by Petrowski. Kelly Petrowski tries to turn it upfield. Knocked away. She gets it back. Knocked away again. Here's Melanie Davies for the Cougars. Davies has that ball ripped away by Petrowski, but the loose one is cleared by Cleary. Downfield, down the middle, out of the goalkeeper's box, in fact, and boots it down the far side. And there's a whistle. Looks like a foul against St. Francis. So a free kick from midfield for Cleary. No score in this game. We've got 34.5 minutes to play in the first half, so we're still pretty early. Neither side has yet challenged the opposing goalkeeper. Free kick intercepted by Serta. Serta downfield for Petrowski, and she's offsides. Flag went up late there. Petrowski looked like she may have been offsides, but for a second it appeared it was not going to be called, and then the flag did go up. Kevin Walter and Roberto Cuevas are today's side judges. The referee in today's game, Jordan Castillejo. A battle for that free kick, and controlled for a moment by Sydney Houston. Knocked back by Davies, and a foul called again against St. Francis. As number 10, Melanie Davies, hit the ground. Ten yards beyond midfield, dead center. There's the free kick. Chelsea Hendra steps up. Hendra sets the ball where she wants it. She's the one who's going to take the free kick. Coming in from the defensive side to do it. Hendra goes into the box, and a little bit too tall for Melanie Davies. Trying to hook up with the head of Davies, who was looking to put it past Estrada herself. Instead, out the back line, out of bounds for a goal kick. Estrada's got it set up. Both Estrada and Donaldson, the Cleary goalkeeper, are wearing their neon green goalkeeping shirts. Similar look for the two sides, at least in net. Into the box and knocked away out the sideline by Brittany Cook. It rolls towards the corner, but it did go out the sideline, not the back line. It's a throw in here for the Cougars. Alexa Haraberta has it set. Haraberta tosses in. And it's immediately knocked downfield by Haley Hogue. Chased down by Hendra. Hendra sends a high bouncer into the box, and it's picked up on one hop by Estrada. Still no score. We are now 13 minutes into the game, so about 32 minutes to play in the first half. Out of bounds for a Cleary throw on the far sideline. Here's Katurba. Katurba trying to cut towards the middle. Muscled off the ball that time by Rachel Hintz. But the Saints defense is there to keep it alive. Olivia De La Rosa loses it off the right foot, taken by Anna Jennings. Jennings down the sideline, battling with Hogue, and Hogue knocks it out of bounds. Good defense by the freshman Haley Hogue. Tossed into Jennings. Jennings against Hanyon here, and Hanyon's able to put it off of her foot and out of bounds for a throw-in. Heriberta tosses it into the box. It hops a couple of times. Melanie Davies crosses in front of the net. Davies shoots, and Estrada's there for the save. Dangerous moment there for the Fighting Saints. First save made by Yadira Estrada. Davies was in pretty good position, about 10 yards in front of the net. Couldn't get a lot on the shot, though. Estrada was right where she needed to be, made a relatively easy grab, and got out of that jam. Now the Saints trying to counterattack. Anna Jennings knocks it out of bounds. Throw in for Madison Hanyon. Hanyon along the sideline finds Petrowski. Petrowski works against Heriberta, and Heriberta knocks it out. Another throw from Petrowski into Katurba, right back to Kelly Petrowski. There's the cross for Litzy Mendez. Bounces once past her, and she's able to secure it with the right foot. She taps it to the outside. There's the cross into the box, deflected, and it rolls out the sideline. Not deflected, rather. It is going to be a throw-in for Cleary here, not for the Fighting Saints. We've got a half hour to play in the first half. Yeah, we've got no score. Back out of bounds. A throw-in this time for St. Francis. Into Martina Katurba. Down along the sideline, Isabel Serta. Serta's in the corner. Serta works around the defender, taps it out to De La Rosa. De La Rosa chips it in towards the goal, and it's way high and wide. And out of bounds for a goal kick. Saints have been able to maintain possession pretty well in this game. They've kept the pressure on the Cleary defense, but they haven't had too many clean chances at the net. No need for Kara Donaldson really to step up and make any plays yet. She made just one, sliding out of the goalkeeper's box in order to make a stop a few minutes ago. Throw in for St. Francis here at midfield. Tossed in from Hanyon to Katurba, and Katurba sends it right into the teeth of the defense. Cleared quickly by the Cougars. Saints get it back. Serta loses control. Intercepted by Harley Gorzelski. Down along the sideline. Gorzelski crosses to Sydney Houston. Houston goes to the other side of the field, and along the near sideline there's only one player there, and she's wearing white. Madison Hanyon pulls it in for the Saints and rolls it back to the goalkeeper. Estrada, rather than picking it up, just puts it in position, kicks it down the sideline towards Kelly Petrowski. Petrowski worked off the ball initially, and now a whistle, and a foul called against Cleary. Some very physical play there between Alexa Heriberta and Kelly Petrowski. Free kick here for Olivia Hollander. Hollander gets the signal. There's the whistle, and there's the kick. Down along the sideline, Kelly Petrowski chases it down. Petrowski trying to control it, working against Heriberta once again, and this time Heriberta wins the battle. As Petrowski loses the ball out of bounds, it's going to be a throw-in for Cleary. 27.5 minutes to play in the first half. Tossed in over the head of Petrowski, deflected back by Madison Hanyon and out of bounds. Throw-in coming up for Cleary. And it looks like we'll see a substitution for Cleary as well as Jennings checks out. Megan Whitenburner is into the game for the first time for the Cougars. First substitute we've seen for either side. Knocked out of bounds by Haley Hogue. Cleary will get a throw in. Tossed in off the head of Whitenburner. Intercepted for the moment by Kelly Petrowski, knocked out of bounds. That one was last touched by Chelsea Hendra. Saints throw it in. Hanyon down along the sideline. Poked out again by Heriberta. Hanyon creeps up the sideline. She'll throw it in again. Petrowski back to Olivia Hollander. Hollander centers it to Martina Katurba. Katurba's intercepted by Hintz. Cleary trying to take it the other way. Man down for St. Francis. I think Litzy Mendez tripped over her own teammate's feet there. She hit the ground and it was knocked out of bounds by the Fighting Saints. Cleary not able to continue their attack, but They do get the ball back. Down the field, headed back by Brittany Cook. A battle for the loose ball around midfield. Knocked towards the outside edge of the circle and up into the air by St. Francis. Cleary gets another throw in. Just under 26 minutes to play in the first half. We remain scoreless as Isabel Serta pushes ahead for Olivia De La Rosa, and De La Rosa is halted on the play by Victoria Bukowski. Petrowski back to Katurba. Katurba rolls it towards the edge of the box. Serta taken away and knocked downfield by Cleary. 1-on-2 for Cleary and an easy stop for St. Francis that time. Cougars on the make again, but Brittany Cook steps in. Big kick downfield, bounces into the box, and so Donaldson can come in to pick that ball up. Just on the far edge of the goalkeeper's area, penalty box. She punts it down about 10 yards shy of midfield. Hintz over to the left, headed downfield by Bukowski, and taken away by Martina Katurba. Good change of possession there for Katurba. It's Mendez rolling it ahead downfield towards the box again. And this time Donaldson has no problem, no real pressure on her. So she steps up, scoops it up. It looks like she's going to take it to the other side of the field, the near side. Controlled down the sideline by Cleary. It stays in bounds, but Haley Hogue is there to knock it away. She pushes it out. That forces a Cleary throw in, and it also allows the rest of the Fighting Saints defense to get back. Kendra Pennington sends it towards the net, but way high, and it went through the goalposts, the football goalposts. If it went through the soccer goalpost, it would have been a problem for St. Francis. Instead, we remain tied 0-0 as the clock winds down to 24 minutes to play in the first half. Estrada sets it up for the goal kick. Kick down the sideline towards midfield. It stays in, and now it's out. It's knocked out by Cleary. Bukowski was the last one to touch it. De La Rosa working against Bukowski here. She tries to get it downfield to either McDermott or Serta. They were both making a run for that ball, but it went out of bounds. A little bit too wide on that kick from Olivia De La Rosa. That one gets by the Saints defense initially, but Madison Hanyon there to step up to help out Haley Hogue, who misplayed the ball in the first touch. And Hanyon knocks it out. In fact, she knocked it off of Whitenburner. So it's a throw in for the Fighting Saints. Here's Kelly Petrowski, and a whistle blows. Petrowski is bumped by Alexa Haraberta. Another foul on Haraberta. Haraberta and Petrowski have had a couple of nice battles going on along the sideline here. Physical play between the St. Francis striker and the Cleary defender. Kick is sent away by Hollander, bounces twice, and is picked up by Kara Donaldson. Would sail a little bit too far on Hanyon. And Donaldson's able to play it cleanly herself. Put towards the midfield circle. Hollander knocks it back the other way. Petrowski reverses field. Olivia De La Rosa bounces it into the box, and Donaldson chases that ball down as well. In fact, she just watches it bounce out. Goal kick coming up for the Cleary Cougars. It's not Donaldson who takes these goal kicks. It's the defender Chelsea Hendra. Hendra, a freshman from Sydney, Australia. Poked back by Kelly Petrowski, but immediately cleared out of bounds by Haley Finazzo. Throw in here for Hanyon and the Saints. Hendra is one of a couple of international freshmen on this team. We've not seen Jacqueline Velada, but she's from Brazil. Nice save that time. Kara Donaldson was on the spot, was able to make the catch on the lined kick. And the game remains scoreless. I think that's the first save that Donaldson has made in this first half. She's been involved in the play. She's stepped up a couple of times and knocked it away. It was the first time, though, the Saints have really been able to put a solid shot on goal. They'll try to do it again here. Olivia De La Rosa battling with Hendra, and De La Rosa is called for the foul for extending the forearm against Hendra. Free kick for Cleary. Let's see, Mendez takes it for the Saints down the middle of the field. That ball bounces past Grace McDermott, but McDermott's able to track it down. Back over to Brittany Cook. Cook downfield, and then popped up into the air by Cleary. Ball right at midfield, controlled by the Cougars and taken away by the Saints. Nice move by Mendez to get around one defender, but then she sends it right over to Chelsea Hendra. Hendra soars that ball out of bounds. 20-20 showing on the clock, first half. A little bit more than halfway through this first half of play. Each team has had one good-looking shot on goal. Neither team has been able to score. Isabel Serta along the sideline. Harried the entire way by Bukowski and knocked out of bounds. Last touched by Isabel Serta. So it's going to be a goal kick here for Cleary, as the Fighting Saints have had another attack stopped. Saints have had more possession in this first half than the Cougars have. I mentioned it earlier, they've really put together a good attack for about 3/4 of the way down the field consistently. Just haven't really been able to finish it off by getting too many good shots off. Here's Madison Hanyon. Hanyon centers it, intercepted. Hanyon pushes it downfield again for Petrowski, deflected back to Martina Katurba, around a couple of defenders, into the box, takes a shot, and it's punched over the net by Kara Donaldson. Great attack there from Martina Katurba. Really nice moves to get around a couple of defenders. Set herself up for a good shot from about 17 yards out, dead center, and Kara Donaldson just was a little bit stronger that time, punching it straight over the net and out of bounds. We've got a corner kick now for St. Francis. It's positioned by Olivia De La Rosa. Here's the kick. Plays it into the front post. Kelly Petrowski trying to turn and send it towards the net. It's knocked out instead. De La Rosa takes a shot near post, and she knocks it out of bounds off the side of the net. Good work actually right there by Kelly Petrowski. Didn't have a chance to turn. The defense was too strong for that, but she was able to knock the ball back out to De La Rosa, who came in from the corner pretty much uncovered. She was at a very awkward angle and couldn't get a good shot out. But a chance for St. Francis at least there. Just didn't quite go their way. Saints will get another try here as they throw it in. Still on Cleary's side of the field. Ahead to Isabel Serta. Back to Brittany Cook, who sends it to Martina Katurba. Katurba tackled off the ball by Hintz. Here's Harley Gorzelski losing it out of bounds. Last touch by St. Francis. Just under 18 minutes to play in the first half. Headed back towards Brittany Cook. Cook rolls it along the sideline, keeps it in. One touch Isabel Serta. She loses it. Haley Finazzo downfield. Back across midfield. And the two teams trade possession. Right now it's in Cleary's grasp. Down the middle of the field. Two defenders there, and Brittany Cook is the first one to get to it. Cook turns and whacks it out of bounds. Throw it on the far side for Cleary. Gorzelski taps it back. Chip towards the box, past its intended target. Then Madison Hanyon taps that ball away from Whitenburner, who they were trying to get the ball to. Knocked out of bounds. Cleary will throw it in. Tossed into the box. Pennington turns and sends it to Hintz. Taken away from Hintz and knocked away by the Saints. Good defense. Stepping in from the back line, Bukowski gets it back to the box. Immediately deflected away by Brittany Cook. And now here come the Saints on the counterattack. Down the sideline, it's Serta. Serta looking for help ahead. She's trying to find Kelly Petrowski. Good defense there by Finazzo. Haley Finazzo was able to get in front of Kelly Petrowski and push it straight out of bounds. Still Saints possession. Cleary's able to get the defense back in position now as Mendez tries to make something happen. Mendez turns, shoots, a diving play by Donaldson, and she doesn't need to get to it. It's a little bit wide to the left. Not a bad shot from Litzy Mendez there. Kara Donaldson laid out for it. It was just out of her reach and just as well because it did sail a few feet wide of the net and go out for a goal kick. So we remain scoreless here in Joliet. Nothing. St. Francis against Cleary in one of the final non-conference games of the year. 15.5 minutes to play in the first half. After this one, St. Francis goes to Lincoln on Tuesday. So Olivia De La Rosa tries to make a move, but is knocked away from Alexa Haraberta. Tuesday they're at Lincoln, and then a week from today in Bourbonnais at Olivet Nazarene University, conference play begins. De La Rosa looks for Hanyon, and Hanyon can't get to it. It's out of bounds. It goes as a goal kick. At Olivet Nazarene next Saturday, and then the rest of the way, nothing but conference games for the Fighting Saints. So just 4 non-conference tilts this year. First 3 of them here at home in Joliet, and then at Lincoln on Tuesday. Goal kick is away down the far side of the field. Isabel Serta maintains her balance, keeps it alive to Litzy Mendez. Back to Serta. Serta looking for the cross, tapped away. The deflection is chased down by Haley Finazzo, and Finazzo knocks it out. Thrown in and right back out of bounds. McDermott sets herself up again. Down to Mendez in the corner. Mendez looking for the cross, and she can't keep it in bounds. It's out for a goal kick. Good effort from Mendez, but to no avail. As the clock runs down to 14 minutes to play in the first half. Cleary gets a chance to put the ball on the other side of the field. It's been a long time since it's been there, at least for an extended period of time. It's felt like for the majority of this first half, St. Francis has been in control of the ball. There's the kick from Hendra. Possession is up for grabs, and Mendez comes away with it. Rolled out to Olivia Hollander. Hollander down the left side of the field. De La Rosa gives it a run, though it watches it go out in the corner. Yeah, it's a goal kick. Just by a couple of inches, that's a goal kick, actually. It almost went out for a throw-in. So far, though, in this first half, the Cougars have not been able to get a lot of distance on their goal kicks. More often than not, the Saints have been able to reapply the pressure very quickly off of these. See if Hendra can change that right here. She goes straight down the sideline, and Whitenburner keeps it in bounds. Now it's knocked out. Who got it last? I guess St. Francis did. It's a Cleary throw-in. Haraberta looking downfield for Whitenburner. Headed away by Olivia De La Rosa, out of bounds. Cougars throw. Haraberta headed back by Haley Hogue this time. Pushed into the air and out of bounds, though, by Cleary. Here's Madison Hanyon set to throw it back in for St. Francis. In on one bounce over the head of De La Rosa. Kelly Petrowski tries to tap it towards De La Rosa, but it's knocked off her foot out of bounds by Alexa Haraberta. Still Saints possession here. They had a chance for a good run, though, if that pass could have been completed. Here's De La Rosa. Knocked downfield and again out of bounds. The Saints will throw it in again, but they're going backwards now. Hanyon, Hollander, back to Hanyon, down towards Petrowski and intercepted. Whitenburner loses it off the first touch, gets it back from Madison Hanyon, and now pushed off the ball by Olivia Hollander. Cleary was calling for the foul. The officials were not. It's the most important thing. Rachel Hintz down to the left side, knocked away by the Saints. Petkowski rolls it ahead. Hintz down the middle of the field, deflected. Whitenburner off of her head Taken by Madison Hanyon, and Hanyon kicks it just once but pushes it out of harm's way. Down along the sideline, back on the Cleary side of the field. They move it across midfield. The Saints knock it to the Cleary side again. De La Rosa is trying to get in position to cross it there. Hera Berter had her read pretty well. She stepped in and knocked it away. Just under 11 minutes on the clock now. Saints bring in a substitute. Mary Kate Heineck makes her first appearance. De La Rosa fighting for possession of that ball. Tries to turn it upfield. Knocked away. Good defense by Hendra. And apparently De La Rosa, not Hendra, was the last one to touch that ball. Throw in for Cleary. Deflected back by Hanyon. Across midfield, Melanie Davies. That's a handball. Haley Hogue got it with her hand. So a free kick here for Cleary, as they try to make a late run here in the first half and take a lead into halftime. Set up exactly at midfield. Kendra Pennington will send it away. Pennington's kick is intercepted by Olivia Hollander. Deflected back in the other direction immediately. The ball loose just outside the box now. And we got a foul called against Cleary. Whistle blows before the kick. Saints will have to set it up again. We'll grab a new ball from the sideline. No score. Saints trying to get back on the board for the first time since August 21st. They've played only one game since then. But they were shut out on Sunday by Madonna. So it's been a while since they've been able to get any goals up on the board. Mary Kate Heineck and company are trying to change that here. Mary Kate Heineck that time has the whistle blown against her. Foul called against St. Francis. Ball set up by Haley Finazzo for the free kick. Finazzo along the sideline lets it go straight out of bounds. Not the kick she was looking for. Grace McDermott will throw it back in. McDermott into Heineck. Poked away from behind, straight out of bounds. Tossed back in to Kelly Petrosky. Petrosky finds Martina Katurba, can't quite control it. And it's cleared by Hendra. 8.5 minutes to play in the half. Heineck has it tackled away at midfield. Stepping up and knocking that ball away is Grace McDermott. Or rather, Haley Hogue. Now Katurba for the Fighting Saints. Katurba makes a defender miss, and she's tripped up. Fall called on Harley Gorzelski. Now Martina Katurba took a pretty good tumble there. We'll see if she's all right. They're going to have to stop the clock here, as she has tended to. Hasn't moved too much since she dropped down to the ground. Looked like she was grabbing at her right leg. And the training staff will come out and they'll have to have a look at her. 7 minutes, 59 seconds to play. We are still in the first half here in Joliet. Beautiful Saturday afternoon. The third home game of the season. The Saints have been pretty lucky as far as weather is concerned with these early season home games. It's been pretty nice for the most part. You have a problem usually early in the season, playing in a little bit too much heat, and then later in the season it's a little colder, although I think for this sport a little bit colder is probably more comfortable, at least for the players, not necessarily the fans or those players who are sitting on the sideline when it's 50 degrees or lower out there, but you get some nice cool weather. It's good to play in. Martina Katurba is being helped to her feet. She was tripped up and fell to the ground. I said before it looked like she was grabbing at her right leg, and that still appears to be the case. She was not putting any weight on her right leg as she tried to walk off the field, and she really couldn't handle it, and so she's being carried off instead. So that's a tough blow for St. Francis. Hopefully Martina Katurba is going to be okay. She's been playing a really nice game today for the Fighting Saints. She's clearly in some pain as she is helped off the field. And the Saints will have to sub somebody in for her. Looks like Arely Sanchez, who will get the call for the final 8 minutes. Katurba being helped over to the training table. Then we'll get an update on her when we find one out. No score, 7:59 on the clock. A free kick here for St. Francis, 12 yards beyond midfield in Cleary territory. There's the kick. Clock begins to run again as the ball goes into the box and is deflected away by Cleary. Whistle blows as the ball went out of bounds. Harley Gorzelski was unable to keep it in. Throw in for St. Francis. Tossed into Litzy Mendez. Mendez weaves her way between a couple of defenders but loses possession of the ball as Gorzelski kicks it away. Now it's loose in the box again, headed once by De La Rosa. De La Rosa is stood up by Hendra. Good defensive stand by Chelsea Hendra and the Cleary Cougars, and now the Cougars on the counter. Sydney Houston down the near sideline and out of bounds. Last touch by Madison Hanyon of St. Francis. Throw-in coming up for Kendra Pennington. Pennington tosses it towards the middle of the field. Tap back towards the sideline on the right. There's a cross from Pennington. Headed away by McDermott. And then cleared for the moment at least by Brittany Cook. And the Saints do indeed get it out of harm's way. Offsides flag is up on Kelly Petrowski. And she did touch the ball. So offsides called against Petrowski. And it'll be a free kick for Cleary. Chelsea Hendra's got it set up. There's the kick down the middle of the field, and stepping up quickly is Brittany Cook. There's Mary Kate Heineck down the sideline with the clearance, but the Cougars take it back. Here's Houston. Houston along the sideline to Gorzelski. Davies taps it back, and now in close to the box. They're able to knock it away. Litzy Mendez taps it to the sideline, and Grace McDermott downfield. Heineck tries to keep it in bounds, just a little bit out of her reach. There's a throw-in for the Cougars. And Sanchez is there to take it away. First touch of the game, I believe, for Arely Sanchez, and she came in from the injured Martina Katurba a few minutes ago. Here's Haley Hogue. Hogue pushes it to the outside for Grace McDermott. McDermott wants to turn it the other way. She taps it back to Brittany Cook, and Cook sends it downfield, knocked out of bounds by Houston. 5.5 minutes to go. First half, no score. Heineck's kick is deflected. Back towards McDermott. Gorzelski gets it by her. Along the sideline, still in bounds, and Davies keeps it alive. Brittany Cook sends it back to Grace McDermott. McDermott downfield, and it bounces once on the sideline and then does kick out. Throw in for Cleary, headed out. Along the sideline, the Cougars hold on to possession. Now there's the cross. Getting it in front of the net, in front of the box. It's knocked away by St. Francis. De La Rosa downfield. Bounces it past Hendra. And a good play by Sanchez to keep it alive for the Saints. Down to Petrowski. Petrowski's got a chance to set something up here. She shakes one defender, turns, takes the shot, and scores! Kelly Petrowski from the left side of the box drills it in, and the Saints are on the board first. 4 minutes, 24 seconds to play in the first half. Just a gorgeous shot right there from Petrowski. Saints take their first lead with the first goal of the game. For Kelly Petrowski, that's the second goal of the season. She has been the only Fighting Saint to score this year. She's got them both. One on August 21st and one here this afternoon. 1-0. The Saints have a lead to protect over the final 49 minutes of today's game. Whitenburner trying to quickly start an answer. She has it knocked out of bounds by Madison Hanyon. Olivia De La Rosa takes it away for the Saints. Here's Sanchez. Sanchez deflected at midfield by Hintz. The ball is loose. Petrowski heads it forward and knocked away by Cleary. Petrowski in possession once again here. In the middle of the field, taps it back to Hollander. Hollander chips it ahead. Sanchez towards the box. Donaldson steps up and picks up the loose ball. Tough break for Kara Donaldson on allowing that goal. That was really unstoppable. Just a perfectly placed shot from Kelly Petrowski as she turned from the left side of the box and fired it to the opposite end of the net. There's a tie-up and a foul called against Cleary. Free kick here for the Saints. It'll be taken by Olivia Hollander from about 44 yards out. Hollander rolls it in short to Heineck. Heineck turns towards the net. She takes a shot, but Hendra's there on the deflection. Doesn't allow it to get back towards Donaldson, and Hendra knocks it along the sideline out of bounds. Madison Hanyon gets to throw it in with just under 3 minutes to play in the half. Headed backwards, Petrowski and Hera Berta circling that ball, and Hera Berta finally knocks it back under the foot of Petrowski out of bounds. So it's a throw in for the Fighting Saints. Hanyon tosses it in. Bounces once off the head of Heineck, and now just Cleary defenders in the vicinity. Knocked away pretty easily and cleared by the Cougars. Down the sideline and out. St. Francis gets to throw it in, trying to mount one more attack. We were locked in a scoreless tie for the longest time here. But after Kelly Petrowski's goal, the Saints are now trying to take a multi-goal advantage going into halftime. Knocked out of bounds by the Saints. Cleary gets the throw in. Just about 2 minutes to go before the intermission. In the middle of the field. Petrowski lets it go all the way back out into the corner, and it's going to be a throw-in. That ball took a last-second roll towards the sideline. I think the Cougars were waiting for that to go out the back line so they could get the goal kick. Instead, it went out the side. And so everybody had to make their way back towards that side of the field in order to get the ball thrown in. Saints are able to intercept the throw-in. Mendez tripped up, and a foul is called on Cleary just outside the penalty box. And so it will not be a penalty kick for the Saints. It'll be a free kick from very near the goalkeeper's box. It's just about a 21-yard distance from the end line, off to the right side. Kick will be taken by Sanchez with just over a minute to play. Saints lead 1-0 late in the first half. Sanchez waiting for the go-ahead. There it is. She sends it towards the net, and Donaldson makes a sliding stop this time. Good save by Kara Donaldson. And now whichever team takes possession of this punt is going to have one last chance to get an attack going. 1-0 St. Francis has the lead. And it's Cleary who gets possession out of the punt. And now we'll see if they have enough momentum to get working forward in the final 30 seconds. Tapped away towards the sideline, out of bounds. Cleary will work quickly here to try to get going. Butkowski towards the net to Davies. Davies pops it into the air, deflected and intercepted by St. Francis. Cleary sends it back to their offensive side. Gorzelski heads it over towards Davies, cleared by Brittany Cook. And that might do it for the chances for Cleary this half. Knocked out of bounds by St. Francis. They're down to the final 5 seconds. So they'll throw it in, and that'll end the half. So the first half does come to an end. The buzzer sounds, and St. Francis has a 1-goal lead. Fighting Saints have had the much greater possession time in the first half. Not able to break through for a long time. But then finally in the 41st minute, Kelly Petrowski made a nice move to shake free of one defender, fired it into the right side of the net, and then scored her second goal of the year. Saints were able to protect that lead for the final 4.5 minutes of the first half, and now they've got 45 minutes to go. At the end of one half of play, our score is St. Francis 1, Cleary 0. I'm going to take a break here, back with the second half in about 15 minutes. Stick around. It's Fighting Saints Soccer on the USF Sports Network. We're just about set to start the second half of action here in Joliet. Welcome back to the broadcast. The Fighting Saints of St. Francis taking on the Cleary Cougars, and the Saints have the lead at the halfway point, 1-0, thanks to Kelly Petrowski's goal in the 41st minute. We are underway in the second half. The two teams have switched sides. The Saints now going from left to right, and they've got possession first as they send it off towards the sideline and out of bounds. Throw-in coming up for Cleary. Stats from the first half, both goalkeepers have made 3 saves. Estrada a perfect 3 for 3 on Cleary's 3 shots. They try to get an early one here. Anna Jennings works her way back to midfield. Kara Donaldson made 3 saves and also allowed 1 goal in. Kelly Petrowski, her second of the season. It came in the 41st minute. It was unassisted. It was a really pretty shot from the left side of the box. And now the Saints look to make an attack, trying to double up their lead. Olivia De La Rosa along the sideline. Knocks that ball off of Kendra Pennington. And the throw-in belongs to St. Francis. Grace McDermott off to De La Rosa. Poked away from her, intercepted by Cleary. This is Pennington. Back to Bukowski, and Bukowski deflects it off of De La Rosa out of bounds. Saints had 7 total shots. 3 of them on goal, or 4 of them rather, on goal in the first half. Here is a little run for Estrada, who steps up out of the net and knocks that ball away from the potential scorer, Melanie Davies. It's still in Cleary's possession, though. Kendra Pennington works it back towards the middle. Pennington's cross goes right past Houston, her intended target. On the back side of it, it's Isabel Serta who comes in and clears it. 5 total shots for Cleary, including 2 for Chelsea Hendra. The defenders' 2 shots led the team. Saints had only 1 player with more than 1 shot themselves, as a foul is called against Cleary here, setting up a free kick for St. Francis. Litzy Mendez had 3 shots. Nobody else had more than 1, but Kelly Petrowski is the one who really made her 1 shot count. Just over 2 minutes into the second half. We've not yet seen any shots taken in the second half, as Olivia Hollander boots away the free kick. Ball down the middle of the field. Here's Serta into the box. Serta's got a chance at making a run at it, and Donaldson kicks it away. Donaldson gets the rebound, flops on top of it. Very well played by Kara Donaldson, the freshman goalkeeper from St. Clair, Michigan. Sends it off to the left side of the field. Serta just barely stayed onside. She had a good target there, but just not quite fast enough to get there in front of Donaldson. Just one more tip of that ball, she would have been able to poke it just past the goalkeeper. Here's Serta again, on the sideline this time. Serta has it knocked away and out of bounds by Bukowski. Saints get to throw it in. It's Serta looking around. She finds Petrowski. Back to Serta. And now over to Grace McDermott. McDermott sends it in front of the net, and it's defended well. Back to Petrowski, though. Petrowski trying to spin around the defender. Pushes it off to the sideline. Serta to McDermott down in the corner. McDermott loses the ball as it's knocked away out of bounds. A throw-in. Good defense there by Bukowski. McDermott tosses it in to Petrowski. Deflected away. Olivia Hollander steps in, takes the shot. It sails high and out of bounds. It was a hard attack right there for Cleary to stop, but they stood up on defense. Good work by the Cougar defense there. So the Saints had 2 or 3 good opportunities in a row. But ultimately that stretch ends with the ball sailing over the crossbar and out of bounds. Rolled back to Estrada. Estrada steps a good 10 yards out of the box. No real threat there with no offensive players around. Kicks it downfield. Kelly Petrowski running after it. But it's knocked out of bounds by Cleary. Haley Finazzo on the defense that time. Madison Hanyon on the throw-in into Arely Sanchez. And it's poked out of bounds again there by Alexa Haraberta. Hanyon throws it into the box, bounces right past Kelly Petrowski, hit into the air by Hendra. Serta battling for position, and the ball rolls back to Grace McDermott. McDermott sends it into the box, just out of the stretch Varelli Sanchez there and out of bounds. This time Cleary will get to reverse to the other direction. Just about 5 minutes into the second half, still 1-0. St. Francis has the lead. Down the sideline, this will be a St. Francis throw-in. Martina Katurba, remember, left the game late in the first half with an injury. She is sitting on the bench right now, but her leg is wrapped up in ice. She was limping during halftime to get to that seat, so it looks highly likely that we will not see her again in this game. That ball rolls out of bounds. Cleary will get the throw-in. Olivia Hollander muscles it away from the Cleary offense, or rather the Cleary defense. But it is knocked out of bounds by the Fighting Saints, thrown back in by the Cougars. Haley Hogue taps it past Houston. The ball is loose. Sanchez pushes it away from the defenders. There's Petrowski keeping it alive for the Saints. Now Mendez taps it back to the defensive line. Saints are doing a nice job of holding on to possession here. Hollander rolls it to the near side. Grace McDermott downfield, defended well. And booted downfield. Estrada steps up, stays in the box this time. She lets the ball roll back into her hands until she's able to pick it up. There's the punt from Estrada. It's a deep one. Well past midfield. Bounces a couple of times down the sideline. Olivia De La Rosa forces Butkowski to the ground. Then a foul is called against De La Rosa. Free kick coming up here for Cleary. Taken by Fanazzo. Cross midfield. One touch. Gorzelski to the middle of the field. Back across midfield and now sent down the middle. There's Brittany Cook stepping in with the header. Here's Olivia Hollander. Hollander turns to her right. She passes off towards De La Rosa, but sliding in. Butkowski knocks it away. Here's Isabel Serta, runs into a wall. Gorzelski makes a run. Hanyon steps in. Hanyon knocks it away, pushes it towards the sideline, but Pennington is there for Cleary. Pennington takes the shot, and it's just high. Pennington collapses to the ground in frustration because she was so close to tying the score right there, but just a few inches high. It skimmed the top of the crossbar before going out of bounds, but she was open, and if that shot had been about a foot lower, that would have been in, because that was in an unstoppable location for Yadira Estrada. Nothing she could have done about it, nothing any of the Saints could have done about it, but Pennington was just barely off the mark, and the Saints dodge a big bullet there. They maintain a 1-0 lead. And now the importance of extending that lead is highlighted as they work their way to the other side of the field. It rolls back into the hands of Kara Donaldson. Just under 37 minutes to play in the second half. 1-0 St. Francis leads. They scored in the 41st minute. It was Kelly Petrowski, the only Fighting Saint to score a goal in 3 games this year. Isabel Serta makes a nice long run to track that ball down. There's the cross from Serta on the backside. A nice pass right in front of the net, but De La Rosa couldn't pull it in and take the shot. Sanchez crossed it to De La Rosa, and just a little bit off the foot of De La Rosa. She had a wide open net, had a chance to make it 2-0. Instead, the Cougars are coming the other way. Davies downfield for Gorzelski. Long run Gorzelski. She gets there, going up against a couple of defenders. Nice quick stop. There's her cross. The shot from just outside the box is easily saved by Estrada. Melanie Davies on the shot. And Estrada was not really hassled by that attempt. Davies was in good location, but just didn't get a lot on it. Here's De La Rosa. Olivia De La Rosa taps it towards the outside, and Hollander is able to work her way there, but she's got to give Houston a little push in the back in order to get there. So the foul is called on Olivia Hollander. Cleary battling for possession at midfield, knocked away by McDermott, out of bounds. Cougars will throw it in again here. 35 minutes to play, second half. Pennington downfield for Gorzelski. Gorzelski battling against Haley Hogue, gets around her. There's the cross. Davies takes the shot, and it's wide to the right, out of bounds. St. Francis still. The toss from Heriberta into Anna Jennings. Jennings working against Mendez. Rolls it down the sideline. Long run Gorzelski. Gorzelski trying to beat Brittany Cook to the ball, but can't do it. Cook gets there first. But by putting that pressure on her, Gorzelski forces it out the back line instead of the sideline. Best Cook could do was just to keep pushing it forward. And so it is going to be a corner kick here for the Cougars. Ball is set up by Kendra Pennington. Cleary looking for the equalizer right here. There's Pennington's kick. In front of the net, just past a couple of potential headers, and it rolls all the way back towards the sideline and out of bounds. Despite Anna Jennings' best efforts, it is going to be a St. Francis throw-in. Pretty good-looking corner kick actually there, just inches away from the heads of a couple of Cleary strikers, but they're not able to come away with a goal. Chelsea Hendra towards the sideline. Madison Hanyon pushes it back the other way, keeps it in bounds. Hanyon tracks it down, and she can't keep it in bounds this time. Does roll out. It's a Cleary throw-in. .32.5 minutes to go. Second half. 1-0 St. Francis. Haley Hogue presses onward. Kelly Petrowski is there. She loses it to Anna Jennings. And a foul is called against St. Francis. Petrowski whistled for that one. It's a Cleary free kick from just beyond midfield. Set up by Kendra Pennington. Pennington's kick goes straight to the net, and Estrada can't stop it. Pennington scores from 50 yards out on a free kick. We're tied at 1. That was just a missile off the right foot of Kendra Pennington. And Estrada just couldn't handle it. It was hit at her, but it was hit hard enough that Estrada stepped up, thinking she was going to be able to make the catch on it, and it just kept sailing. She got her hand on it, but couldn't put the squeeze on it for the save. We're tied at 1. Big goal for Cleary there, and for Kendra Pennington. Scoring in the 14th minute of the second half as that ball is knocked out of bounds by Pennington. St. Francis will get the throw in. So now the Saints will look to answer as Cleary knocks it out again. The Saints controlled the pace of play in the first half. It wasn't until the final few minutes that they were able to get one on the board. Here's Donaldson stepping up and making the stop there for Cleary. But here in the second half, it's been Cleary who's really controlled the tempo of the game. They've had far more chances in the second half than the Fighting Saints have, and this time they're able to break through a little bit quicker than St. Francis was in the first half. So we've got just over a half hour to play in the game. Well, it's very probable that the next goal will end up winning it. So a big battle right now for possession as the Saints get the throw in. Hanyon fires it down the sideline. De La Rosa long run, can't get to it before Houston does. Sydney Houston knocks it out of bounds. Throw in for Madison Hanyon. Hanyon tosses in for Sanchez, but it's knocked away by Hintz. Here's Jennings for Cleary. Downfield to Melanie Davies. Davies gets it by Hollander. Back to the St. Francis defense, and Brittany Cook lets it roll out of bounds. A goal kick coming up. Petrowski, the goal scorer for St. Francis, her second of the year. Pennington was the goal scorer for Cleary. That's her second goal of the season as well. Tying her with Harley Gorzelski for the team lead with 2 goals apiece. Hintz knocks it downfield. Brittany Cook heads it back the other way, but Pennington is waiting there. Pennington takes a shot from long range, but that one sails well out of bounds. Still tied 1-1 as the Fighting Saints get a free kick here. So 2 goal scorers, both have long last names starting with P. Apparently that's the key to scoring in today's game. And they are, in fact, the only 2 in today's game with such names. So look for one of them to score again. At least that's what I'm going to assume going forward. Here's De La Rosa trying to take control of the ball. She can't get it around Alexa Haraberta. Cleary possession down the middle of the field. There's a ball to the left side. Long run for Grace McDermott. McDermott gets there before Pennington can. And so the ball goes out of bounds, last touched by Cleary. McDermott throws it in. Tosses it just past Sanchez. Petrowski pushes it back, but it's knocked away from her from behind. Out of bounds, last touched by Bukowski. Throwing for St. Francis. The Fighting Saints bring in a new player. Grace Giallo is in. And Kelly Petrowski is out of bounds, that is, not out of the game. And Relly Sanchez is the player who left the game. Knocked out of bounds this time by Brittany Cook. Cleary will get another throw in. Just under 28 minutes now on the clock. Thrown all the way in to the box. But it's an illegal throw there from Pennington, so the Saints will get to throw it in. Pennington tossed it in at the wrong angle there, at least as far as her hands were concerned. It doesn't matter. They're able to take it right back. And taken away from Pennington by Hogue. Here comes Litzy Mendez. Mendez spins around one defender, runs right into the other, though. She got around Hintz. Houston stopped her, and then Mendez tripped up Sydney Houston. And so Litzy Mendez is called for the foul. Free kick coming up here for Cleary. This is from way out there, but this is the same range that she scored from earlier in the game. This time actually a little bit closer to the center. Pennington's got it set up. Again, she's kicking it from 50 yards out. There's the whistle. Here's the kick from Pennington. Tries to send it towards the net again. This time she's wide. It bounces a couple of times and goes out of bounds. Again, very similar spot to where she scored from not too long ago, just over 5 minutes ago in game time. That time, though, she didn't have quite as much on the kick, and she skipped it out of bounds as well. Here's Petrowski at midfield for the Fighting Saints. Petrowski taps it back, and Olivia Hollander sends it ahead. Intercepted by Cleary. Here come the Cougars. It's Davies. Davies taps it to her right. Nobody there. Mendez is able to poke it away. Out of bounds. Throw in for St. Francis. As that ball was tipped by Haraberta. Actually, we'll call it a foul on Haraberta. So the free kick goes to St. Francis on the Cleary foul with 25:40 showing on the clock. There's the kick. Just out of the range of the header from Hintz. Hintz is able to kick it forward. Davies rolls it to her left. Pennington down the middle of the field. Halted by the Fighting Saints. There's McDermott. McDermott launches it ahead towards Petrowski. Headed out of bounds by Haley Finazzo. Here's Olivia De La Rosa getting the throw. And knocked out of bounds again by Finazzo. She got it along the sideline in the corner. It's a throw in for St. Francis. Olivia De La Rosa tosses it in. Here comes Mendez, and before she can get there, Chelsea Hendra knocks it away. Quick reaction time by Hendra there to stop any potential St. Francis attack. We're tied at 1, nearing the halfway point of the second half, so we're getting into the latter stages of this one. Hintz not able to clear it. Still alive for Serta and the Saints, but 3 defenders in Serta's way, and she is halted. Here's Kelly Petrowski stepping in, taking the shot, and it goes wide and out of bounds for a goal kick. Nice attempt from Kelly Petrowski, doesn't go anywhere. Here's Hendra's free kick. Cleared by Cleary. Cougars on the attack. Houston rolls it to the right. Gorzelski halted quickly by Hanyon along the sideline. That's Haraberta pushing it ahead. Jennings blows by the defender. Now Anna Jennings pushes it into the box. Well defended there by Litzy Mendez. She's able to make the stop. Coming in from the midfield. Knocked out of bounds. Nice play by Mendez that time. Down into the corner. Haley Hogue is able to force it out of bounds, and it was last touched by Cleary. 23 minutes to play in this game, 1-1. 23 minutes to play in regulation anyway. The way it's going, overtime is certainly a possibility. Saints took a 1-0 lead late in the first half. Kelly Petrowski scored with about 4.5 minutes to play before halftime. St. Francis gets the throw in from midfield here. It's the first time the Saints have had a lead this year. Second goal they've scored. They were not able to protect that 1-0 lead, as Kendra Pennington from 50 yards out on a free kick scored in the 55th minute. That made it 1-1, and that's been our score ever since. Here's Serta working her way into the box along the back line. It's out of bounds. And we've got a corner kick coming up. Forced off of Serta's foot. A couple of defenders there. Serta really had no chance to turn in and cross it, so she did the next best thing. She forced Cleary to knock it out. Olivia De La Rosa set for the corner kick. Goes into the backside, deflected once in front of the net. Here's Petrowski on the turn. The shot is deflected away. Now Serta, second effort, too high and out of bounds. Good chance right there for St. Francis. Weren't able to get one in though, and we remain tied 1-1. Kelly Petrowski took the first shot. It was deflected back by the defense. Isabel Serta came in on the back end, and Serta sent it a little bit too high and out for the goal kick. So here come the Cougars. Then a whistle blows. Somebody got her foot up there a little bit too high. So the free kick for St. Francis on the Cleary foul. 21 minutes to play in this game. Olivia Hollander's got it set to take the kick. From the far side, Hollander into the box, headed away towards the sideline and out of bounds. There's the throw from Hanyon. Hanyon gets it back. There's the cross in front of the net, knocked away. Well defended by Rachel Hintz and cleared along the sideline out of bounds. Saints will get the throw in. St. Francis scored their second goal of the season earlier today. They've not scored yet in the second half of a game this year. Against Madonna last weekend, they trailed 1-0 at halftime. Ended up falling in that one 3-0. Right here, though, they've got a chance to make themselves the heroes in the second. Tosses it in off the foot of Kelly Petrowski. Petrowski tries to turn it infield. It's taken away by Hintz. Now the ball loose in front of the box and cleared by Hendra. Chelsea Hendra knocks it out of bounds. Another throw in from McDermott. Same spot as before. This time she finds De La Rosa. Olivia De La Rosa is muscled off the ball by Hintz, and a foul is called on Rachel Hintz. Free kick coming up for the Fighting Saints. This one will be from just under 30 yards out, off to the right side of the net. We'll see how Olivia Hollander approaches this ball. Good chance here for St. Francis. She's got most of her teammates off to the left. Kelly Petrowski directly in front of her, with two defenders lined up in the wall. Here's Hollander's kick. She sends it on herself and out of bounds. Tried to score on the free kick itself. Wide to the right. Olivia Hollander so far this season has not scored a goal. She has taken 3 shots, one of them on target. We're down to the final 18 and a half minutes here. Tied up 1-1. Here comes Cleary trying to break the tie. Long run for Gorzelski. She blows by Brittany Cook. Gorzelski has just the keeper to beat, and she can't beat her. Estrada comes sliding in, knocks it off her foot. Ball still loose. The net is empty, and it's knocked away by the Saints defense. Hannion's able to step in and make the play, and now Hollander clears it. The defense of St. Francis stepped up in a big way there. First it was Estrada knocking the ball off the foot of Harley Gorzelski. And then Madison Hannion was able to clear it when the net was empty. Still in the Saints' territory, though. Knocked away by Grace McDermott. Hintz off one touch, loses it to Serta, and Isabel Serta sends it downfield for De La Rosa. De La Rosa battling for the ball, loses that battle. Headed back, but Hintz pushing forward again for Cleary. Now the ball loose at midfield. It's De La Rosa who gets to it, and De La Rosa is beaten by Mitkowski for that one. A lot of alternating possessions this last minute. That ball sent a little bit too far towards the net. Estrada steps in and picks it up. There's the punt from Estrada. Bounces just shy of midfield and across the midfield stripe. Isabel Serta was knocked to the ground, so a foul called against Cleary. Saints will get a free kick here from just beyond midfield. 1-1, we're tied. Kendra Pennington tied the score here in the second half on a long-range free kick. The Saints decide to play it short, and they're not able to get in too deep. Here's Brittany Cook on defense, stepping back and tapping it to her goalkeeper Estrada just outside the box. Estrada kicks it down the middle of the field, finds Hollander. Off to her right, Grace McDermott. Pushed ahead for Olivia De La Rosa. De La Rosa's got a chance to run the attack here. Knocked off of her foot by Finazzo and out of bounds. So that allows the Cougars defense to stomp back into position. Saints get their offense set up with 16 minutes and 15 seconds to play. Thrown in a little bit too high for De La Rosa. Knocked up in the air by Cleary. Bounces a couple of times. Headed into the air by Brittany Cook. Cook crosses it. There's Litzy Mendez. Mendez fires it to the right looking for De La Rosa. De La Rosa's on sides. She's at the back line and she sends it out of bounds. I think she was trying to turn that ball back to the middle of the field and cross it. She did have Kelly Petrowski streaking in from the back post, but just wasn't able to get an angle on it, and her kick ended up going straight out of bounds. So De La Rosa checks out. Mary-Kate Heineck comes back in for St. Francis. Second time she has made an appearance on the pitch. We're tied at 1. Getting late in the second half. Saints looking for a little offensive spark off the bench here. Out of bounds for a Saints throw-in. Hannion tosses towards Serta, deflected out of bounds by Heraberta. Hannion has it deflected in the other direction. Long way back to go here for Brittany Cook, and Cook taps it back to Estrada. One touch, right back downfield, and out of bounds. Along the sideline, Jennings turns it upfield. Pushed out by Haley Hogue. Here's Haraberta for the throw. Bounced into Gorzelski. Hollander sends it away. And back at midfield, it's brought in by Hendra, out of bounds. Sub coming on for Cleary as they're about to get the throw in. Paige Conlon is in. Anna Jennings, who sat most of the first half but has been out there for the entire second half so far, sits down with 14 minutes to play. Pass goes into Gorzelski. Here's Hintz. Hintz looking for Conlon to get her involved early on. Instead, it's sent the other way by St. Francis. Gorzelski does get it to Conlon. Pushed away from Conlon. Good defense. Kelly Petrowski getting it by Melanie Davies towards the sideline. Sent the other way by Haraberta and into the box. And Estrada's able to step up and pick up that loose ball. 13 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. There's the punt from Estrada. Across midfield, turned the other way. Down the middle of the field, it's pushed away towards the far sideline and out of bounds. Knocked out. Last touch by Cleary that time. Throw in coming up for the Fighting Saints. Hanyon to Mendez. Hanyon across midfield, deflected the other way by Cleary, and cleared by the Cougars. There's Kelly Petrowski heading it back downfield. Giallo to the outside. Grace McDermott steps up. McDermott dribbles into the box. She's halted by Bukowski, able to keep control, trying for the cross, and there to pick it up is the goalkeeper, Kara Donaldson. Good run for Grace McDermott, but McDermott is stopped short. We're still tied at 1. Just over 12 minutes to play in the first, or the second half rather. Bounces across the 50-yard line. That's knocked out of bounds. Saints will throw it back in. McDermott tosses for Hynek and gets it between Hynek and Petrowski, but the foul is called against Cleary. Set up by Hollander to take the free kick from right along the sideline, about 8 yards upfield from the midfield line. There's the kick from Hollander, and right into a sea of blue shirts, but Petrowski is there to back it up. Stepping in is Brittany Cook. Cook takes a long-range kick, bounces right in front of the net, and picked up on the first hop by Kara Donaldson. There's Donaldson's punt, high into the air, drops just in front of midfield. Controlled for the moment by Cleary. Out of bounds, last touch by St. Francis. Along the sideline, Hanyon knocks it back into Cleary territory. Sent the other way by Hendra, back into St. Francis territory. And they reverse field again. Two sides going back and forth until finally Petrowski takes control. Good ball to Mary-Kate Hynek. Hynek touches it once into the box and knocked away. Good defense by Haley Finazzo. Corner kick coming up for St. Francis. That looked like a golden chance there for Hynek, but Finazzo came in out of nowhere and was able to make the play. Good work by Finazzo. Here comes Olivia De La Rosa back on the field for St. Francis. And Isabel Serta grabs a seat. Corner kick here for the Fighting Saints. Kelly Petrowski takes the kick. Petrowski goes in front of the net. Controlled by Litzy Menders. At least she tried to control it. Couldn't keep it in front of her. And it's cleared by the Cougars. Brittany Cook sends it all the way back to Estrada. Estrada steps up, boots it to the far side, and out of bounds. Under 10 minutes on the clock now. Getting very late here. These two teams want to avoid overtime Somebody's going to have to score in a hurry. McDermott downfield. Headed back by Cleary, right to Mary-Kate Heineck. Heineck trying to keep control to Giallo. Grace Giallo loses it off the first touch, and it's knocked out of bounds by Finazzo. Heineck gets to do the honors here. She throws it in towards the middle. One bounce deflected away by Cleary. Giallo to Heineck. Heineck boots it high into the air in front of the net, but nobody there for St. Francis. Clears all the way to the backside, and it's knocked out. Last touched by Madison Henyon. Haraberta gets a throw in. Haraberta along the sideline knocks it out. Throw in this time for the Fighting Saints. There's the throw towards De La Rosa. Poked out. Right back to Hanyon. Here's Kelly Petrowski. Petrowski pops it up. Heineck trying to play it off the second bounce. Instead, it's Hintz who gets there, and Hintz is undercut on the play by Mary-Kate Heineck, so the foul is called against St. Francis. Free kick for the Cougars. They haven't had the ball too much lately. They had a lot of good chances early in this half and did end up scoring the game-tying goal in the 55th minute. They've been quiet since. Here they come now. Gorzelski with the cross. It's deflected out of bounds. The corner kick. Pennington's the one who scored the goal on a free kick. Now she's trying to set up somebody else. In front of the net, there's the header. It goes to the backside. And De La Rosa there to clear it out of bounds. De La Rosa, I think, just wanted to let that one go out for a goal kick, but it wasn't going out. It kept spinning along the line, so eventually she had to turn and kick it out. But Kowski's kick is deflected away by Hanyon. Cleary still on the attack. That ball sent in front of the net, and Estrada picks it up. Just under 7 minutes to play in regulation. Still tied 1-1. There's Estrada's punt. It goes long. Bounces right in front of De La Rosa, battling for position. Olivia De La Rosa knocks it off her chest, keeps it alive. Here's Hollander pushing it down the sideline towards De La Rosa and out of bounds. That brings up a throw-in for Cleary. Knocked out of bounds, a throw-in for Cleary again. Inch by inch, working their way down the field. Victoria Butkowski tosses it in where it's intercepted by Brittany Cook. Cook down towards Litzy Mendez. Mendez, one touch going forward into the box. Hendra knocks it away, out of bounds, sideline. It's a throw-in. Will be made by De La Rosa. Olivia De La Rosa off the head of Petrowski in front of the net and knocked away. Good defense again by Hendra. Houston pushes it forward, out of bounds. Cleary throw-in. There's Butkowski's throw, knocked out by Brittany Cook. With just about 5 minutes to play in the second half, Cleary throws it in from midfield. 5:15 on the clock. Brittany Cook knocks it back out of bounds. So Cleary throw-in by throw-in, keeps working their way down. This time Cook is able to step in and push it out of bounds a little bit further back, so they're not advancing this time, but they are going to throw it in again. Butkowski headed towards the middle of the field. Pennington knocks it upwards. There's a ball to the right side, a shot, and a goal. It goes for Hintz. And it's 2-1 Cleary with 4 minutes and 43 seconds remaining. Ball was pushed out by Harley Gorzelski. past a strong second half for Cleary, and they have overcome a 1-0 halftime deficit to take their first lead. And now they need to protect that lead for just 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Rachel Hintz scores her first goal of the year. Senior from Macomb, Michigan. Cleary in possession once again here. They'll try to eat as much clock as they can now when they have the ball. Saints, on the other hand, will be playing with a little bit more urgency. De La Rosa rolled ahead for Hynek. Hynek at the edge of the box, called for offsides. That'll allow Cleary to waste a little bit more time before taking this free kick. Set up very deliberately by Chelsea Hendra. Hendra's kick is away and straight out of bounds. Now the Saints work rapidly to get the ball back in. Hanyon intercepted there by Haraberta. Poked right back out. Hanyon will throw it again. Looking for some help. Finally throws the ball back in play. Trying to find Grace McDermott down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds. McDermott this time will throw it in. McDermott playing up on the opposite side of the field as opposed to her typical right defender position. Here's Kelly Petrowski worming her way forward. Her pass is deflected. Knocked out by Cleary. Another throw from deep in Cougar territory for St. Francis. Hanyon into Mendez, and Mendez can't control it. Knocked away by Hintz, our most recent goal scorer. Down towards the corner, McDermott tries to keep it in. She can't. 2:45 to play. Cleary has dodged another bullet, and now they've got a goal kick, which will allow them to eat up another 20 to 30 seconds as they take their time setting the ball up and then eventually push it deep down the field. Substitution coming in for Cleary as well. This will take a little bit more time off the clock as Corey Peak comes in. Paige Conlin checks out. And Hendra is ready for the kick. Already about 35, 40 seconds have gone down since the ball went out of bounds. And they reset the clock to 2:26. So they'll put about 20 seconds back on. Still a Cleary possession here with the goal kick. So they were able to eat up about 20 seconds or so, not counting the time for the substitution. Ball goes out straight to the sideline. Hendra's last two goal kicks have not been very effective. They've both gone straight out. Here's De La Rosa trying to turn it upfield. Knocked out of bounds. De La Rosa, the last one to touch it. Bukowski set to throw it back in. Then back out of bounds. Last touch by Haley Hogue. Battle for the ball at midfield, and a foul is called against St. Francis. That's a killer for the Fighting Saints. It allows Cleary to push the ball back into the Saints' territory. And a few more seconds run down off the clock. We're about a minute and a half to go now. Just under 100 seconds on the clock. Kendra Pennington set to take the kick. Headed away by Cook. Ball just in front of the box. Headed again by Cook towards the sideline. It's De La Rosa. De La Rosa can't control it. Taken by Sydney Houston. Now De La Rosa downfield looking for Petrowski. Kelly Petrowski trying to get to that ball, and she does. She works it forward for Mendez, but Hendra knocks it away and out of bounds. Throw-in coming up for St. Francis as De La Rosa tosses it in. Under a minute to play in the game. Knocked out of bounds. Saints very urgent now as it's tossed into Mendez. Mendez at the edge of the box. Turns it upfield, looking for Hogue. Haley Hogue was offsides, and she was trying to get back as that ball came in. No chance to pull it in. And it's out of bounds for a goal kick with just over 40 seconds on the clock. Cleary's going to take enough time off here that if the Saints aren't able to take the ball back, they'll only get really one more run towards the net. Hendra sends it towards the sideline. This time it stays inbounds. Saints battling to get possession back. Haven't been able to do so just yet. Now it's knocked out of bounds. St. Francis will throw it in with 18 seconds on the clock. Tossed in by Grace Giallo for Mary-Kate Heineck. Heineck loses it out of bounds. Another throw-in coming up for the Saints. They've got just 10 seconds now. Time maybe for one more shot, and they won't get it off as it's knocked out of bounds by Cleary. Saints should get another throw-in here, but they're not going to have enough time. So there's the final buzzer, and the Saints fall 2-1 to Cleary today. A tough loss as they held the lead from halftime until relatively early in the second half as Cleary was able to get on the board about 14 minutes in, 59th minute of the game. And they tied it up on a free kick. And it was tied 1-1 for the majority of the second half, but a late scramble led to a Rachel Hintz goal with 4 minutes and 43 seconds remaining. And the late goal for Cleary gives them a 2-1 win and evens up their overall record this season at 2 wins and 2 losses. Interestingly, it's very similar to the way that Cleary lost their last game. They fell 2-1 and allowed a goal with just 9 minutes remaining. Today they score the winning goal with just under 5 minutes to play in the action. And they come away on top. The goal scorer for St. Francis was Kelly Petrowski. Petrowski broke a 0-0 tie in the 41st minute. A very impressive goal from the left side of the box for Petrowski, her second this year. It was the first time that St. Francis held a lead at any point in any of their first 3 games. They were up 1-0 at halftime, but then Cleary had the quick answer in the 59th minute of the game. Kendra Pennington from 50 yards out was able to nail a free kick to tie it up 1-1. And so just as the first half was tied pretty much the entire way at 0-0, the second half was tied almost the entire way at 1-1. But with just 4 minutes, 43 seconds remaining, off of a ball to the right side by Harley Gorzelski, Rachel Hintz came in. The ball was loose. Hintz came in and just rolled it past Estrada and scored the game winner to make it 2-1 Cleary. That would go on to be the final. So again, the Cougars of Cleary come to town from Howell, Michigan, and they upend St. Francis 2-1. They improve their record to 2-2 on the season. St. Francis had to have been feeling it for a few minutes there, just couldn't hold on for their first win of the year. They fall to 0-3 this year. One more non-conference game coming up before CCAC begins next week. They're at Lincoln at 5 o'clock on Tuesday night. And then next Saturday at Olivet Nazarene, a night game, 7 o'clock in their conference opener. Their next home game, their home conference opener, is against Judson University. That's on Tuesday, September 24th. That's a 7 o'clock start time. And we'll have the broadcast for you through the USF Sports Network. That's going to do it for today's game, though. The Saints fall to Cleary University by a final score of 2-1. That does it for me. Until next time, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for the University of St. Francis. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.